You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
Say you're a real estate broker and you've got a client and they're waiting to put their home on the market after the holidays. When should they put that home on the market? Well, it depends. How about that for an answer? Now, I literally just answered that question with one of my real estate brokers. And here's what your seller needs to know. All right, right now we've got super low inventory. So if you've got a home in an area where you know there are active buyers out there looking, I would get it on sooner than later, because we don't know what's going to happen with supply, because we don't know what's going to happen with interest rates. We think interest rates are going to drop. They've gone from 2 3/4 all the way up to 8. They blipped over 8 for just a split second. They got to 7.8 pretty consistently in October. Now they're a hair over 7. But we think, based on the Federal Reserve and their ability to try and control the marketplace by tweaking their federal funds rate, which either slows down or increases borrowing not only by consumers and businesses, but mortgage rates. So if we have interest rates drop, you're going to have a bunch of buyers enter the market. And you're also, this is important, going to have more sellers enter the market, because then they can go out and buy in a lesser levels of interest rate. They're going to get a lower mortgage rate on their home. So they're going to be, I think they're going to be encouraged to list their home. But right now, what we know is, all right, interest rates are around, call it 7%. And we have very little supply in most markets. Most markets have less than a 2-month supply, which is a seller's market. So do you want to be on the early end? Say, just, let the holiday, don't bring a home on during Christmas and expect anybody to, honestly be out there. But we have put deals together. Summit Properties Northwest has put deals together, and we've done appraisals on the Reynolds and Klein side, during the holidays. All right, we got to get you out there now. Do you know that it is Christmas Eve? Do you know that it's New Year's Eve? Yeah, we got somebody who's hot to trot and they want to close this. They want to close this, January 2. So there's always somebody out there. But for the vast majority of buyers and sellers, let the first week or two of December happen. And I'm telling people, jump in January 15th. Let everybody kind of shrug off that holidays, get that out of their system and get down to business. That usually happens about January 10th, something like that. People are like, guess the holidays are over. And what we know this year in 2024 is that you've got really low inventory. So if you put that house in the market, it is more than likely gonna sell. Now, what you're leaving on the table is you might get a little bit more appreciation if the market really heats up with interest rates coming down and a whole bunch of buyers stepping in and absorbing more than the sellers, who are also recognizing, hey, I can actually go out and afford to buy a home after I sell this one, and putting more homes in the market as far as inventory goes. So do you put it on mid-January? Sure. Do you put it on February 1? That would be okay too. Go with the data that you have at the time you're making that decision and work it through with your seller. But just, if you run the numbers for your individual market, recognize, all right, days on market, how long is it taking to sell a home? How many homes are on the market? That's what you can deal with right now. Beyond that, you don't know. Anything could happen. A pandemic could happen. Interest rates could go up. Interest rates could come down. Then you've got that feeding frenzy of buyers jumping into the marketplace. Recognize what you can control right now. And don't worry about, what's down the road. But sellers are going to want to know, well, what do you think? Is my home going to be worth more? Am I going to be able to sell it for more in, say, March, April, May? And the answer to that is maybe. You don't really know. You're not able to predict the future. But what I would say, if I was a gambling man, I would say, yes, you'd probably be able to sell it for a little bit more. How much more? Probably not a ton. So, do you want to wait for now or then? The further you wait, the longer your sellers wait, the less sure things that you know about, the less that you have data that tells you, all right, here's what's happening. So what I would say is get that home on the market as soon as you comfortably can after the holidays. And I think you're going to have low levels of supply through next summer, because you just don't have the number of sellers bringing their homes on the market. We're not going to have a time period where sellers are just going to dump a whole bunch on. And even if they dump a little bit on, there are so many buyers out there who are waiting in the wings as those interest rates drop down, and they will drop down. That's my opinion. That's my professional guess. So I think this spring selling season, you put the home on the market anywhere between January and, June, say that time period. Right now, knowing what we know, you're not going to, if it's well priced and there's no major buyer objections, home's going to sell. And that's here for the Pacific Northwest. Other markets, you've got some differing, supply side, and you've got some economic, differences. All right, you don't have the huge job market. The market's a little bit slower. So you got to recognize what I'm saying for you. If you're not in the Puget Sound market, things might be slightly differently. But for the most part, across the United States, it's a supply side game, right? And you've had that demand just get whacked because interest rates went from 2.75 up to almost 8. And 8 is still not a huge number. I know you might be saying, well, yeah, but Sean, if you could get it at 3, it's a big number. Historically, 8 is not a huge number. Anything with single digits in front of it is not a terrible number. We've just gotten so used to 5% that everybody's like, oh, no, I'm waiting for 3%. I got my mortgage at 3.1%. Like, yeah, I don't care. Yeah, you're the greatest ever. You timed it just perfectly. Good for you. Here's your ribbon. That's what you want to say to those people. But yeah, so that's where we sit. So going back to when do I put it on the market? Make that decision. But sooner than later would be my advice, because you're gonna get it sold. There's such little supply out there. That is the positive side. All right. That's it for me. I'm recording this for you in the middle of December. Happy New Year, and I'll see you next year. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.